Have you ever started talking and halfway through a sentence, your voice just disappears? You know what you want to say. Your brain has the words. Your mouth technically just showed up for work, but your voice says, I'll be participating at about 37% volume today. Or maybe people keep saying, What? Can you repeat that? Speak up. And after a while, you stop wanting to talk as much. And not because you have nothing to say, but because repeating yourself is getting exhausting and honestly slightly soul sucking. Well, today we're going to talk about Parkinson's voice changes, the softer voice, the mumbling, the rushing, the trailing off, the feeling that your voice is slowly moving to another room without telling you. And stay with me till the end because I'm going to give you the exact way that I would explain voice changes to a doctor, my speech therapist, or even someone in my life who thinks that, I'm just not speaking clearly enough. Because saying my voice is being weird, that might be true, but we need to make it clearer than that. And my voice has apparently entered witness protection is probably not official medical language yet.
Welcome to Living with Parkinson's. The good, the bad, and the reality. Real talk, real life, real community with Bryce Perry. Let's begin.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the broadcast. If you're new here, my name is Bryce, and I was diagnosed with Parkinson's at the age of 40, and I've been living with it now for almost 16 years. And today we're talking about something that can sneak up on people, and that's your voice. Because Parkinson's is usually talked about as a movement disorder. People talk about the tremors, the stiffness, the slowness, the walking, the freezing, you name it. But Parkinson's can also affect the way you speak. And that can hit harder than people realize because your voice, it's not just sound. Your voice is how you connect. It's how you tell a story. It's how you joke around. It's how you ask for help. It's how you say I'm fine even when everyone knows you are absolutely not fine. It's how people find you in a room. So when your voice changes, it can feel personal. It can feel embarrassing and frustrating. And sometimes it can make you quieter in more ways than one. So today we're going to talk about 5 mistakes that people make with Parkinson's voice changes. And more importantly, what can we do to start noticing before the voice gets pushed even further into the background? All right, here we go. Mistake number 1. Thinking it's just aging, tiredness, or nothing. Now, this is probably one of the easiest mistakes to make because voice changes can happen slowly, right? And they may not be dramatic at first. You might not wake up one morning and say, well, apparently I've been replaced by a quieter version of myself, right? It might start small. People ask you to repeat yourself more often, or someone says you're mumbling. You feel like you're talking normally, but everyone else acts like you're broadcasting inside a pillow fort. You trail off the end of your sentence. Your sound softer on the phone. You feel like your voice takes more effort than it used to. And because it happens gradually, it is easy to explain it away, right? I'm too tired. The room's too loud. I need my hearing aids. My phone speaker is terrible. Everyone else is clearly the problem. And sometimes, yes, the room is loud, and sometimes people are not listening. Sometimes the phone speaker sounds like it was built inside a soup can. But if people are consistently asking you to repeat yourself, that's a clue. Now, it doesn't mean to panic. It doesn't mean something terrible is happening, but it means to pay attention. Because with Parkinson's, the voice can get softer without you realizing it. And that is one of the sneaky parts. You may feel like you're speaking normally, but what comes out may be quieter, flatter, rushed, or even less clear than you feel like it sounds like inside your own head. And that mismatch is very frustrating. Because from your side, you're thinking, I'm talking. From their side, they're thinking, I can barely hear you. And now everyone is annoyed. Wonderful. A communication problem with bonus feelings. So mistake number 1 is brushing it off as just aging or tiredness. If your voice is changing, you need to notice it. Write it down, bring it up, because the earlier you notice it, the more options you may have to work on it. And if people have started saying what or can you repeat that more often, drop a me too in the comments. And not because we're trying to blame anyone. Although, honestly, repeating yourself for the 6th time can make a person consider moving to a silent monastery. But because someone else may read these comments and realize they're not the only one losing confidence in their voice. All right, moving along. Mistake number 2 is waiting until your voice is really bad before asking for help. Now, this one's huge because a lot of people wait, right? They wait until people are constantly asking them to repeat themselves. Or they wait until the phone calls get harder. Or they wait until restaurants feel impossible. They wait until they stop joining conversations. Or some people wait until they feel embarrassed. And I get that because voice changes do not always feel urgent. If you can still talk, you think, well, I guess I'm fine. But fine can be sneaky. Fine can be that little bridge between I noticed something and why did I wait so long? And with Parkinson's, we do this a lot. We wait. We wait with walking changes. We wait with freezing. We wait on our sleep problems. We wait on swallowing issues. And we wait with voice because nobody wants one more appointment. Not at all. Nobody wants one more thing to work on. And nobody wants another person saying, have you tried exercise? We are already collecting exercises like Pokemon cards, but your voice matters. And speech therapy is not just when things are falling apart. It can be something you ask about early. You can ask your doctor, should I see a speech language pathologist? Could Parkinson's be affecting my voice? Are there voice exercises or programs that could help me? Now, it doesn't mean that you're overreacting. It means that you're paying attention. And there is a really big difference because waiting until your voice is really hard to hear can make the road back feel much harder. The goal is not to wait until your voice is hiding under a couch with your motivation and 3 missing socks. The goal is to notice the change and ask early. So mistake number 2 is waiting until your voice is really bad before you ask for help. You don't need to wait until the communication feels like a full contact sport. If your voice is changing, bring it up. All right, here we go. Mistake number 3 is thinking speak up is the same as being heard. Now, this one might hit home for a lot of people because when your voice gets softer, people often say, speak up, talk louder, stop mumbling. And sometimes they say it gently, but sometimes they say it with frustration. Sometimes they say it from another room while the dishwasher's running, the TV is on, and they somehow expect you to project like you are starring in a Broadway musical. Now, listen, speak up may be true in the moment, but it's not always helpful. Because with Parkinson's, you may feel like you're already speaking loudly enough. Your brain might think the volume is normal. Your voice might come out soft anyway. So when someone says speak up, it can feel kind of like a criticism. It can feel like, you're just not trying or you're annoying me. And then what happens? Well, you tense up. You get embarrassed. You may rush, you may trail off, you may talk less, and suddenly that voice problem becomes a confidence problem too. That's the part that people miss. It's not just volume. It's dignity, it's confidence, it's connection. It is the emotional tax of having to repeat yourself over and over until that sentence no longer feels worth saying. And that is why care partners and family need to understand this. If someone with Parkinson's is speaking softly, and they may not realize how soft it is, they may not do it on purpose. They're not doing it to ignore you. They're not mumbling to be difficult. Parkinson's may be affecting the system that helps regulate voice volume, clarity, pace, and expression. So instead of snapping, speak up, try something calmer. Like, I want to hear you. Can you say that a little louder? Because one sounds like correction and the other sounds like support. And support lands way better than criticism every time. Unless you're trying to motivate me to clean the garage. Then apparently nothing lands. The garage won. So mistake number 3 is thinking speak up is the same as being heard, and it's just not. Being heard means that the people around you understand what is happening and help you stay in the conversation without making you feel small. And if speak up has ever made you feel embarrassed, drop voice in the comments. Just one word, voice. Because this is one of those topics that people, don't always talk about, but a lot of people feel. And if you're finding value in this, do me a quick favor, hit subscribe. That's all you have to do. It's quick and painless. There's no ceremony. You just hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. We're building a library for people living with real life with Parkinson's. And don't forget, stay with me because near the end, I'm going to give you the way that I would actually explain this to a doctor or a speech therapist or someone in your life who does not understand why your voice is changing. It's not a speech. It's not a TED talk from the kitchen table. It's just a simple sentence that gives people something useful to work with. Okay, moving along. Mistake number 4, and that's ignoring the pace problem. When people think about Parkinson's voice changes, they often think about volume. Soft voice, quiet voice, can't hear you. But pace can be a part of it too. Some people start talking faster. Some people rush through words, and some trail off before the sentence is finished. Some people start strong, and then they fade. And some people feel like the words are there, but they come out like a clump. like the sentence tripped over itself on the way out of your mouth. And that's frustrating because you may know exactly what you want to say. Inside your head, the sentence is perfect. It's clear, it's sharp, it's ready for the world. And then it exits your mouth looking like it just survived airport security. And now everyone's confused. And you're thinking, that sounded better in my head. And honestly, same. That is half my life. With Parkinson's, this can be more than just normal talking weirdness. It can be part of how speech changes. Your voice can get softer, your pace can change, the words may run together, the expression may have flattened. You may sound less animated than you feel, and people may misread that. They might think you're just bored or tired or annoyed or just uninterested. Meanwhile, inside you're fully engaged, but your voice just forgot to notify the outside world. And that's why it helps to notice patterns. Do you rush more when you're tired? Do you trail off at the end of sentences? Do people hear you better at certain times of the day? So, mistake number 4 is ignoring the pace problem. It may not just be the volume, it may be your speed, your clarity, your rhythm, expression, and fatigue. And all that is worth noticing. Okay, mistake number 5, and don't forget, I'm still going to give you that sentence later on in the episode. But mistake number 5 is letting embarrassments make you quiet. Now, this is a heavy one because voice changes can slowly change how you participate. At first, maybe you just repeat yourself, and then you start avoiding phone calls. And then you stop telling the longer story, and then you let someone else order for you. And then you stop jumping into conversations because you just think it's just not worth it. And that's where Parkinson's gets sneaky because it's not just lowering the volume, it's shrinking your presence, and that's not okay. You still have things to say and you still have stories to tell. You have opinions, jokes, questions, complaints. You still have the right to be heard, even if your voice is softer, even if your words are slower, and even if you need people to be patient, even if the sentence takes a little longer to arrive. Your voice still matters. And I know that sounds so simple, but sometimes simple things are the ones we need the most. Because when people keep asking you to repeat yourself, it can wear you down. And you start editing yourself. You start choosing silence because it's easier. And silence can feel safer. But silence can also get lonely. So if your voice is changing, do not disappear. Ask for help. Tell people what is happening. Use tools if you need them. Practice if that's what's recommended for you. Slow down and pause. Take a breath. Face the person you're talking to. Reduce the background noise when you can. And if someone says, "What?" for the 7th time, try not to assume that they're annoyed. They might just want to hear you. And if they are annoyed, well, congratulations to them on having a fully functioning voice and an emotional patience of a printer jam. But your job is not to vanish to make people feel comfortable. Your job is to stay in the conversation as much as you can. So mistake number 5 is letting embarrassment make you quieter. Parkinson's may change your voice, but it does not get to decide that you have nothing to say. All right, now it's time for Carmen's Care Partner Corner, and here is what Carmen, my wife, said when we talked about this episode. From the care partner side, voice changes can be really hard because you may not realize how often you're saying "what" or "I can't hear you" or "speak up." And you may not mean anything by it. You may genuinely not hear what was said, but the person with Parkinson's may hear it as criticism. And they may already feel embarrassed. They may already be frustrated. May already be trying harder than you realize. So care partners need to be careful with tone. This is a big difference between saying "speak up" and saying "I want to hear you. Can you try again?" One can feel like correction and the other can feel like care. And that matters. Try to reduce that background noise when you can. Turn down the TV, pause the dishwasher, move closer, look at people when they're speaking, and give them time. And if you're in public, don't say "nobody can hear you." Like, don't embarrass them. Protect their dignity and maybe talk about it ahead of time. Ask, "What helps when I can't hear you? Do you want me to remind you gently? Do you want me to move closer? Do you want me to tell you when your voice is getting softer?" Because every person's different. And remember this, the person you love is not trying to be difficult. They're trying to communicate through a body that is making communication harder. So support the person. Don't correct the symptom. Awesome, Carmen. Thank you so much. I really like that line, support the person, don't correct the symptom, because voice changes are already frustrating enough. Nobody needs to feel like they're being graded every time they open their mouth. And Carmen's right. Tone matters. Speak up, and I want to hear you. Maybe trying to solve the same problem, but they sound and feel completely different. One sounds like you're annoyed, and the other sounds like you care. And when Parkinson's is already stealing confidence, care matters. It matters a lot. So let me get to that sentence now that I promised you at the start. Because if your voice is changing, you need a clear way to explain it. Here is how I would say it to my doctor or speech therapist. I'm noticing that my voice is getting softer. People are asking me to repeat myself more often, and it seems worse when I'm tired or off. That's clear, that's simple, and it gives them something to work with. You're not just saying my voice is weird, because yes, my voice is weird. My body's weird. Actually, the whole department has been under questionable management since I was diagnosed. But this gives details. What is happening? Well, your voice is getting softer. What are other people noticing? They're asking you to repeat yourself. When is it worse? When you're tired or off. And if you want to fill in the blank version, it would be like this. I'm noticing my voice is, people are, and it seems worse when, okay, again, I'm noticing my voice is softer. People are asking me to repeat myself, and it seems worse when I'm tired. And that is a very different conversation than saying nobody can hear me. Because with Parkinson's, details matter. And this is not about diagnosing yourself. It's about giving your healthier team better information so they can guide you. And that brings me to today's Bryce-ism. You've totally unlocked it. Thank you for staying this long. And here it is. Parkinson's may lower the volume, but it does not get to lower the value of what you have to say. That's a true story right there. All right, if this video helped you, please hit that like button, not for me, but for that person who's sitting at home repeating themselves over and over, wondering if they should just stop talking. That one click, that one like will show this video to them. And if you're living with Parkinson's or caring for someone who is, or trying to understand this disease, why don't you come along for the ride, subscribe, and join the community here. Again, not just a YouTube channel, not just a podcast. This is a community. And in the comments, here's what I want you to tell me. Have you noticed changes in your voice? Right? Softer voice, mumbling, rushing, tailing off. Are people asking you to repeat yourself? And here's the big one. Have you stopped talking as much because it just feels easier? Drop voice in the comments if you don't have much to say, but at least I really want to start a conversation here. And care partners, we want to hear from you too. What helps you support someone without making them feel corrected? That comment might help some other care partner who feels less alone and maybe even a little more heard. And as always, I want to thank you so much, just so much for watching the podcast and listening to the podcast. Thank you so much for being a part of this community. It means so much to me. And until next time, I want you to keep showing up. I want you to keep being real. And I want you to keep doing life today. I love you, love you, love you. You guys have a great week, and I'll see you on the next episode.